So Battlefield comes out in a month or so, and Call of Duty comes out in about 2 months. Does that give Battlefield a big advantage over Call of Duty this year? People predicted in the last iteration that Battlefield 3 could possibly outsell Call of Duty, but then we saw that Call of Duty Black Ops was the highest selling Call of Duty of all time. So let's see if there's any chance this time. Guys, this is Questioning Gaming, and let's get started. So, Call of Duty always comes out in November. Activision likes to call it Call of Duty month, but really it's more like Call of Duty week because after the first weekend, most people have either snapped their disc in half or have just completely returned the game in general and switched to something else. That's usually how it goes. There's about 1.5 million people on Xbox 360 for the first week or so, and then it gets cut in half and it's just gone after that. And then there's Battlefield. That comes out in October, usually with a beta before that, almost like a demo that people get to try. Now, whether or not that hurts its sales is yet to be seen. As with Battlefield 3, there was a lot of bugs in that beta. It was poorly optimized, and it wasn't even really a Battlefield experience. What EA has done this time when it comes to marketing is they are deciding to use Siege of Shanghai, the thing that we saw they've advertised Levolution about with destroying the building. That is the beta this time. It will be Conquest, and it will be awesome. But does that give Battlefield the edge on Call of Duty? So every iteration so far, jumping up to from Modern Warfare 2 and onward, every game has outsold the previous one. And Black Ops 2 has sold millions. Heck, it passed the $1 billion mark in the first day. I mean, come on, that's just not even fair. But as we've seen with Call of Duty Ghost, it's nothing special. It's nothing that's really caught people's attention. It's nothing that's really made people want to say, oh man, you see the new Call of Duty. Most people are saying these jokes like Call of Duty dog. And, that's about it. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing really grabbing except for female soldiers and a few destructible things. The multiplayer isn't anything new. They haven't done anything to make it to where it's this outstanding, freaking amazing experience. But then there's Battlefield. That's always been Battlefield. It's always had the air combat. It's always had the astonishing visuals. It's always had the ground, the land, the sea, everything. Just ground and land are the same thing. But they've had all these different types of gameplay for the longest time, but it's always been kind of undermined when it comes to Call of Duty because sometimes Battlefield can be slow, and I will admit that. Conquest is not the most fast-paced game, but that could possibly change with Battlefield 4. It seems like they're starting to realize that people like tight corners and just long corridors for just spraying and praying and just killing as many people as possible. While yes, the game is still centered around the idea of play the objective, people still like to get kills. People aren't really looking at your accuracy right now. They're still looking at your score per minute and your things like that, but your KD is just not the most important thing. And I know I said accuracy. Accuracy is still very important to some people. But Call of Duty has always been about KD and being the top on the leaderboards. Even though that's usually just covered with hackers, it's still about being the top of your friends' leaderboards. It's always been a competition, but with Battlefield, it's always been a competition amongst your friends to be better than everyone else. You always have your group and you always have your squad and you go out and play. Just like Call of Duty has clans that go out and play together, Battlefield has squads that has made it so it's more competitive play. But the thing about Call of Duty is it's still more player-centered, kind of like Counter-Strike in a sense. When you watch a Counter-Strike frag movie, when it's usually a group, it usually just shows off the best kills from each player because it's still about killing everyone. While yes, there is an objective in Counter-Strike, it's still about making sure everyone on the other team is dead, and it's about who had the best kills. And the same goes for Call of Duty's competitive edge. The MLG section of Call of Duty and the esports section has always been about who's the best player, who gets the most kills, who's like the team leader. When it comes to Battlefield, the team leader is the guy that really pushes everyone to play the objective. He makes sure his team is even. No one is better than the other because everyone's supposed to be that good. Everyone has the same attention as each other because it's not about the player, it's about the team. And that's what I've always been attracted to about Battlefield, has been the players as an unified team. Now, the thing is, though, is they don't market that. What they're trying to market is all the cool things you can do, which is great. Hopefully that will get more people to come, but I don't really think that will give it the edge over Call of Duty this time around. Call of Duty has always had this YouTube fascination. It's always had this audience, always had this, that, and the other. It's always had these just fast-paced gameplay that anyone can pick up. Heck, if you knew me, you'd know that I worked with kids after school, and they all play Call of Duty. And it perplexes me that they're like 10-year-olds and they all play a game that's for 17-year-olds, which we all see in Call of Duty, and we all know it if you just get on a headset, which is kind of confusing, but it's something that they can pick up and play. One thing about Battlefield is it's never been something that can be picked up and played. So if they can somehow make it to where it looks like a game that's picked up and played, it could possibly outsell Call of Duty this time. But one thing I think EA is doing right is they are trying to back on other games other than Battlefield. Recently, EA came out and said that Battlefield, Battlefront, and Titanfall are the games that will go into circulation. That means that games will have 3 years to be made. Now, this could be kind of confusing for me because, if you look at it, Battlefield and Titanfall both come out pretty closely, so we'll have to see where that goes. But it's that idea of the shooters that will have more time to be made rather than Call of Duty, which is made every 2 years if you are looking at the companies that make it, the developers. So where does this really leave Battlefield? Well, we'll really have to see when it comes to the beta. Sometimes the beta is a huge mistake, like I said earlier. The bugs, the not-so-Battlefield experience, things like that. It just turns people off. But if you watched my previous video about the YouTubers going to play Battlefield, you'll see that the Call of Duty YouTubers are probably going to attract a lot more people, and this beta could get a lot more attention, so more people will go and play the game and see what they think of it themselves. This could give the game either too much publicity or the right amounts where everyone's like, oh man, this is awesome. The problem to me is that there's no next-gen beta. There's no really next-gen experience. So the console aspect is just going to be a little flawed. It's hard to explain, and right now it's very unpredictable. A lot of people are complaining about the new Call of Duty, but a lot of people that are going to be playing Battlefield on consoles don't get to experience the real Battlefield moments. When I talk to my friends about Battlefield, I'm one of the only guys that plays PC. I said, oh man, you're getting Battlefield for Xbox 360? Man, that stinks. And they're like, oh, here he goes. He's going to talk about visuals. And I said, no, it's about the experience. You guys are unlimited to around 24 players, while I get almost 3 times that. That's the real experience. The full map, the full-on warfare, just the full hecticness of 64 players is the true experience, but not everyone has a PC that can try that. So maybe if there was some way to get that into everyone's hands, we could see Battlefield tackling Call of Duty with this beta and the beta alone. Right now it comes down to how the beta will really impact people's opinions, how the YouTubers will really sway people's opinions, and pretty much just what it comes down to when people see it on the next-gen systems and try it for themselves, and if they could just somehow get it into the hands of everyone to see a true Battlefield experience. PAX, Gamescom, E3, the people that went there were lucky and they got to see the full experience. Everyone else, well, we just got to see these videos, and while yes, they're doing well with the marketing of Levolution and everything like that, they aren't really selling the true Battlefield experience, and that is playing Battlefield and having these moments for yourself. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you on the Battlefield. I hope that Battlefield outsells Call of Duty, even though it probably won't happen. It probably will take up to around maybe the next Battlefield, or maybe even a new Bad Company if they even decide to do that. I don't know, We'll have to see how that goes, but if you like this, if you agree with me, please hit the like button. If you want to talk to me or leave feedback or just have any other questions or remarks, leave a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.